Hey guys, what is up? Andrew coming at you. In this one, I'm going to answer more of your questions. This might be somewhat of a long video, and if it ends up being a really long one because I've gotten a lot of comments, which is awesome. I think it's so great that I'm getting so many comments on my videos, and obviously there's a need and people want help. A little bit of change of scenery, I don't know. Maybe the lighting could be a little better, and I apologize for that, but we're going to go into it today, and if it ends up being a really long one, I might break this one up into two videos. Like a two-parter, and if that's the case, then I'll have more tomorrow. We'll see how that happens. But I'm going to go through here. The first one's from Patrick. Patrick says that I hear Amazon is coming to Sweden soon. They have tried in the past, but there was a legal issue with the name Amazon, that being owned by a person in Sweden who previously refused to sell. But that was resolved recently, as I understand it. So that'll be awesome. I think if Amazon can come to Sweden, that'd be great. The advantage is you get that 2-day free shipping, which is awesome. You pay the 1,000 crowns a year or whatever, and then after that you're not going to have any problems, which I think is really, really cool. One other thing before I continue answering your comments, though, I want to say that I'm going to start linking below. I linked up an account with Amazon, and these are all products that I've bought. So I put 4 books, I think, in the link below if you're getting ready to move to Sweden. And these were 4 books that I read. Nothing really will prepare you for coming. I will do my best, but these are books that I read about the culture and things like that that I enjoyed, and there were 4 of them there, and I read all 4. And of course I get a little something if you click on the Amazon link, but I thought it was worth it putting it there. If you could think of anything else you'd like me to link to, product wise, I mean, maybe over time if I like something I'll put it in a link, but anything related to Sweden that you'd like or interested in, I'll link it below, because why not, I guess. But we'll go from there. I already did the one on the groceries. Someone said my mic quality is really good, and that's great to hear. I guess my Bluetooth microphone in a previous video went okay. I hope you guys enjoy that, or if I get an idea, I can just vlog that way. But I've found with YouTube, and this is advice for new YouTubers as well, I think that mic quality is probably the most important. I got to work on the lighting, but because I'm traveling and things like that, I just sit down in a room. I think as I got more viewers, I would work on maybe making the lighting perfect and things like that. But for right now, I'm okay with that. Patrick also mentioned something as far as ICA and Coop are the 2 main chains nationwide. Hemshop, Willys, etc. are also coming, but not quite as big. And that's good information to know as far as the grocery stores go in Sweden. So thank you for the information about that. Nicholas has suggested that I try to sing some songs in Swedish, which I'm looking forward to doing. If you go through some of my previous videos, I think before I started working serious with YouTube, my number 1 video was it was me singing Still a Nut. I want to try to do some Swedish classics. The problem is I don't have my guitar with me here. The one video I posted was with my friend. But if you're interested, I have links below. One link is to my EP and one is to my SoundCloud. I'm hoping to be able to do more music stuff as I go. That was the main reason why I started this channel. But I don't want to ignore the fact that there's an interest in Sweden as well. And you got to ride the wave while it's hot. So that's what I'm doing as well right now. Moving through here. Again, the question is what's cheaper to move. I really appreciate Oliver. I really appreciate your help there, because that was the thing I was wondering is if you are moving to Sweden, it really depends on what area you're going to be in, because I know that IKEA will deliver after if an item is at a certain price range, but you can also rent a car with a hitch as well. As far as driving in Sweden goes, as far as I know the law, how it worked was you could drive a car if you were an American citizen in Sweden for up to a year, but afterwards you have to work on the license. I currently don't have a car, but if I stay in Sweden long term, I'm going to have to pay some money to take the classes, which is interesting to me because you don't need to if you're a member of the EU, but if you figure in America, we probably drive more than anyone else. So I think personally that they should look at that law and change it maybe, because I understand the reasoning behind it is probably has to do with being able to drive in the snow. But I mean, I'm from Western Pennsylvania, and honestly we probably get more snow than southern Sweden does most years. We get a lot of snow at once and then it can melt and then we get a lot of snow again. So I think it's more important to probably understand how the driving laws work. You know, the signs, those are probably the most important, but that's the reasoning behind it. And you can ship a car over. I had a friend ship a car over from New York City, and I think he spent about $700 shipping his car over. So just so you guys know, that is an option as well that you have. So next one. This one is in the reserve. This one's about the customer service where I mentioned, and it was about the phone company. This was about a phone I had that didn't work. Parisian says about the phone company that really not about good customer service. It's more about a bad / false advertising, and that would never happen in Sweden. And if it did, the company would not be alive anymore. It would have been shut down by customer service law in Sweden, which is great. Yes, you are very protected by customer service laws in Europe. And if you think about it, recently, Google was just sued for a ton of money. I think it had to do with the privacy laws. Oh, it had to do with the search engines. So they would put their advertisements first in the search engines, what I thought was kind of obvious, but that violated an EU thing, and that Google had the highest fines. It was in the billions of dollars. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there as well. Someone bought the same laptop I bought, so that's cool. There was a comment about that. One guy said, "Sup, mate," so I'm going to say, "Sup, mate," back. Now, M has a couple comments on some videos, and I'll go through that. Eventually, I won't probably be able to go into everybody's comments and make these videos because I'll get so many, but I love it because it gives me a lot of ideas of what I can do. So, if you do cooking yourself, you have more control. Eating out is the same everywhere from a health perspective, but yeah, pricing makes it less common in Sweden. Fast food is known to be bad for you, and the U.S. has so many outlets, chains, and more fried items. I found that grocery stores in the U.S. carry a lot more sugar-free stuff than Sweden. Whole grain pasta is less expensive in the States. I miss the whole grain snacks, and I can't get them in America. I can get them in America when I'm home in Sweden. So this person misses them when she's back in Sweden. So that's really cool. Thank you for that comment. And yeah, I mean, I understand exactly. It's very common. It's very common in the U.S. to go out. Go out to eat twice a week. I got to tell you now, I'm gaining so much weight from being home. I think most of it is water weight, just because there's so much sodium, and I haven't been drinking enough water. So now I'm going back to drinking water. And as a runner, when you get a little bit of that belly, it's not fun at all. So that's something I'm dealing with. But I mean, I'm only in America for 6 or 7 weeks out of the year, so then I go back and I'm much healthier. So that's awesome. Emma has something on customer service as well. Her comment is, "I think it's a cultural thing too. Swedes do not like to complain and point out faults. So when a complaint is made, it is serious and it's taken care of in an efficient manner. That can be perceived as stiff. Americans will bend over backwards for a customer so they don't get sued. I personally see it as phony, almost brown-nosing behavior that makes me uncomfortable. I just want things to be set right. Okay, we'll fix this. I don't need to hear about how very, very sorry they are and how much they value me as a customer. If they are so desperate, ain't too proud to beg to keep customers there, must be something wrong. I think it's the Swedish mind. My American hubby just shrugs it off as normal. I don't think the service getting food at a restaurant, returning a flawed product, having repairs done itself is better or worse, just different in how those services are presented and handled." And that's very interesting, because when I mentioned my customer service thing, if you really think about it, just because I perceive it a certain way in Sweden doesn't mean that Swedes do, because I do have the customer service law. And but to go on your comment, and again, this is a cultural thing, I think in the States, more or less, it's just that when people say they're very, very sorry or they want to work on things, I think it's more there's so much competition too. So I can go to another restaurant if I'm not happy with the restaurant service I have, or I can switch to another phone company. I mean, of course, you have those options, but I think that's as well as just like just wanting to keep your business. But I could see how if you came from another culture, it would be seen as disingenuous. I'll give you another example. Like, if you're an American and you ask someone in Sweden, "Hey, how are you?" If they're having a bad day, they'll probably go in and tell you if they're having a bad day. And I guess in the American culture, we just want everyone to say, "Oh, I'm great. How are you?" So that, I think it's a cultural difference as well. And I get your point. It really depends on the kind of service as well, because I worked as a car salesman for a little while, and obviously customer service there is really important. And what I found in customer service is not only are you selling the car, but you're also selling yourself. So that's huge. I mean, think about it, the YouTube world that I'm in right now, I'm selling myself in a sense, because for those of you that subscribe to me or want to hear what I'm talking about, you are following me, and I'm selling myself. I'm saying this is the reason you need to keep on it. But I really enjoy your comments, so thank you, Em. And then you have 2 more here I'll try to go through, and then I'm going to break this up into another video, so there'll be another one coming out tomorrow after this. Just found your channel, so I'm commenting on everything. Sorry, not sorry. Smiley face. You have a lovely singing voice. Thank you very much. So Thursdays is for kids. This has to do with Easter. Dressing up as crowds, going from house to house, asking for candy, and handing out Easter cards. And in witches and flying to get favors from the devil. Eggs, big candy-filled eggs is on Saturday. You have much more bunnies. We have much more chicks. So that's awesome. And it's an interesting tradition. I haven't seen the kids knocking on the doors because I live in an apartment, and I don't think it happens a lot in apartments. My understanding in Sweden Easter with the kids knocking on doors and going to candies, it probably has a lot more to do with smaller community homes. And then M said, was it hard for you to switch to the 24-hour clock compared to the AM/PM 12-hour clock that is usual in the U.S.? I'm still having difficulties with different measuring formats, be it time, volume, or temperature. For me, it's interesting you say that because I was so set in like miles and the way our clock system works. And I have been able, and I actually have this Fitbit here. It's my dad's old Fitbit, and he gave it to me. And I still have it set the 13. It's 15:53 right now. I was reluctant to switch to the 24-hour time clock, but then probably after 6 months I just switched. And the funny thing is when I look at it now, I just see what the time is. I don't even think of it anymore. And kilometers was hard as a runner to switch to kilometers. But when I switched to kilometers, I really enjoyed it because, you know, a kilometer is 0.6 of a mile. So when you're running, you go, oh, I only have 3 kilometers left. It just seems like a less distance. So I can run a kilometer a lot faster than I can run a mile. So that hasn't been difficult. But it has been really difficult to switch to temperature. It's always hard for me to understand temperature. I always find that I'm looking online to see what it is in Fahrenheit. I get a little bit better, and obviously I know what 0 degrees like Celsius is. But for me, temperature has been the big one that's hard. Temperature and weight, kilograms. That's always tough as well with lifting weights. Sometimes I always find that I'm searching to see what the difference is there between a kilogram and a pound. So it would be weight and temperature is the hard one for me to switch, but I've been able to switch on the other ones. So that's what I have coming out for you guys today. If you like this video, please give me a like. If you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe below. I hope you enjoyed this one, and always write your comments. I will try to go through them if I think it's a great question. And the nice thing that we have with this channel is there's plenty of people on here plenty of Swedish people on here that are happy to answer your questions in the comments below, which is just awesome. And I'm so thankful that you guys like my perspective. That's great. And it's been a pleasure getting these questions and answering them and seeing my channel grow. I mean, it's small, I know, and compared to other channels out there, but obviously there's a niche here and there's people interested. So I'm loving it. I'm having a lot of fun. I hope you're having a great summer, and I'll see you tomorrow in the next video. Take care.